How's it going, guys? This is Ernest, Elder Tribesman for Sonic Tribe. Sonic Tribe, we were and still want to be in the future, maybe not at this time. We're going through some issues to try to square away our country so we can go back to normal times and see if we can go from there. But what I do is the music in the background is my music. I wrote it, recorded it, some tracks, some demos, and the whole thing that I'm doing is, number one, I want to have fun. I'm not one of these guys that are going to spend a third of my presentation trying to sell you something. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just offering my takes, my opinions. I go behind the, into the numbers and try to get insights on these teams that you won't get when you just look at their record and how many points they scored and that kind of thing. There's a lot of things that we need to know if you want to actually risk investing anything. Whether you're a whale putting out 10 grand at one pop on one game, or you're a $50 a week parlay player, okay? It's something to do, it's interesting, it occupies your mind, and we might make some money. So anyway, we'll start with a recap here. Last week's games, college, I went 3 for 3. Okay, now that's not a good thing. I'm not here to say just all my picks are locks and just play the ones that I tell you. But I'm going to give you insights on all these picks that I talk about, and some that I won't play, some that I will, and that's what I'm doing. And so anyway, last week I think everybody, 90% of us, if you put money on, we all thought Miami, Florida was like the Miami, Florida of the 80s and 90s. Well, maybe they are, but not last night. I'm not sure what happened there. I didn't watch the game. I just have to think that they either had a letdown or Virginia Tech was able to run the ball and control the clock. I didn't see it. So, but still, that's a loss. Same thing with Tulane and USF. I was high on Tulane at first, beginning of the year. They let me down, and now I think that they're at a slightly higher level as far as ranking than a USF would be. So that's another loss, and I'm not going to consider this kind of plays here. I'm going to go for more consistency. I don't want to pick a team that's high one week and they're down the next week for whatever reason. I want to look for consistency. This team from week to week performs at a certain performance level in certain ways. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what we all should look for. I had James Madison again. Like I said in my last post, the number 56 total, they'll probably cover it themselves, and they did. So that's not much to say about that. I don't understand why they get so much disrespect. The next team after that, I had Notre Dame laying 6.5. If you had 6.5, well, you covered. If you took Notre Dame at 7, well, you didn't lose, but you just pushed it. So, The next one I had University of North Carolina and Duke. Now this one, I had the over on this one too. It was at 56. They got what, 40 points, 40, low 40s, 41. I expected at least mid-20s from each team. I don't know if this is Duke's defense is better than I thought, or UNC just has trouble scoring against middling teams. When I say middling, I mean teams in, say, from the top 50 up to the top 80 or 40. And so I don't know. Once again, inconsistency. UNC, if anything, I'll fade them, which I will this week. I had Penn State, Illinois. Penn State, I don't know. I didn't watch the game either. And it either says Illinois does have a better defense than that shows in the numbers that I've seen, or Penn State is one of those teams that they're not that predatory type that if they can lay 60 or 70 on you, they're going to do it. There are, that I've talked about before, that are that way, but Penn State doesn't seem to be that way unless it's a real competitive game. And if they got to put up 50 to win, they'll do it. But if they can settle for, putting up 34 or 28 and win by 7 or 10 points, then they're fine with that. That's what I've seen with them. So, that's 3-3 for the week, 13-9 since the start, and that's not something that, like I said, I'm not going to say, hey, take my picks and you make money. I'm going to say, listen to my insights and make your decisions, because after all, the person laying the wager is always the one responsible for his success or lack of success. So anyway, as far as the pros, Chicago and the Rams. Now that one, I'm not sure what it is with the Rams, other than, once again, you have the Rams coming back against the Niners last week, and then now against Chicago, which doesn't have especially strong running or passing offense. It's kind of inexplicable, and maybe there's something to do with injuries, although on the injury report doesn't seem to be an issue. So once again, another inconsistent team. I'm just going to leave those teams alone. And I had Washington, and the game went pretty much the way I expected. They ran the ball, AZ could not, and Washington's quarterback is starting to develop an efficient look that, well, I'm going to take him again this week. So anyway, this week, college games coming up. I'm looking at Pittsburgh at North Carolina. Once again, North Carolina, to me, I'm not sure if they can score, if they can match scores against Pittsburgh. They might, but and being at home, if they're down in the fourth quarter, they're not going to stop trying. They'll get that last touchdown in the last minute of the game. I think Pitt is an overall better team, and so both quarterbacks throw the ball effectively, but neither team can run really effectively. So it's going to be a passing thing, and the quarterback that with the less amount of mistakes is going to win the game. But here I recommend Pitt, and they're what, lanes 6, 7. What is it, 7? Tease them down to 1. Solid bet. The next game I have is Navy, lane 5.5 against Air Force. Now, Air Force has looked really anemic, weak. They really can't score against anybody. They don't really run the ball well, and their quarterback they really don't have a quarterback. I don't see this number. I would expect this number to be 14 to 17. Navy, their quarterback, he's a one-man show. He gets 80% of the running yards and he passes. But this guy, he can match scores with almost any team. Any team up to a top 40 and below, maybe not. But any other team than that, this guy's going to lay 40 or 50, whatever it takes, to try to win. So, this is a low number. I'm just going to go ahead and lay the points at 9.5 with Navy. Now, the next game I have, this is probably my strongest pick, would be Indiana, laying 13.5 against Northwestern. Now, Northwestern is another anemic team. they can't really, they don't run the ball. They don't have a real quarterback. The guy just hands the ball off. I don't think they've gotten over 100 yards passing against any team that's considered a credible team. I don't understand. It's 13 and a half. Maybe they're at home once again, a cheap backdoor cover late in the fourth. But other than that, I don't see that. I don't see. To me, Indiana has proven themselves that they can score. They've got a defense. They can pass, and Northwestern just won't keep up. So this is a strong pick for me. Indiana minus 13 and a half. Now, last week I've been writing James Madison. This is my third time. The first two times I just picked the over, and they covered that on their own both times. Yet here we have them, the total being 48. Now, once again, I still think it's possible they might cover that on their own. They might go over 48, but the numbers tell me something like a 34 to maybe 15 to 20 for Louisiana Monroe. Now, Louisiana Monroe, for some reason, other cappers, the real pros, they're giving them a lot of respect. They're saying their defense is showing good numbers, but if you look at who they've played, I mean, they've only one team that's actual a team that you can measure any kind of level, and I think what they scored 5 points. No. The stats are not a true indication of what this team can do. I think James Madison's going to roll at least up to a minimum 31 to 38 in that area. Louisiana Monroe, I actually think they might go as low as 17 to 24 tops. So in this case, I would still, I would go ahead and, not a strong lean, just a lean on James Madison and laying the points. But if you want to tease that, bring it down to 10, that would be a pretty decent, solid tease. And the same thing with USC. They're at Minnesota. They're laying 8.5. Now, Minnesota does have, they can pass to a certain point. Their quarterback is effective. How effective against USC? Not sure. USC, neither team is going to be able to run the ball. So this will come down to passing. But in this game, I give USC the edge. I think they've shown some resilience against top teams. And Minnesota really hasn't. So a strong tease for USC. And those would be my picks for college. And by the way, let's see, college here, where was I? Oh yeah. Anyway, that's the picks I have for college this week. As far as NFL, well, now, NFL is really, really strange. I mean, now it's getting to the point where I no longer have to go by the numbers, the stats. Who runs, who can stop the run, who can't run, all that. To a certain point, yeah, especially against the lower level teams. But when you get to the higher tier teams, those things really don't seem to matter now at this point. Injuries to key skilled players do, right? And so now you have this situation that I'm not sure if I saw Carolina, if you saw Dalton actually on the injury list. I think I might have. But if he isn't on the injury list, I might leave this game alone. If he's not, I'm going to ride with Dalton again. I mean, those 4 points, they're getting 4 points. So in this situation here, I mean, this is a perfect teaser situation where not only is the team that I think is going to win is getting points, but you can add on 6 more to that. So I don't think they're going to lose by 11 points. I just don't see that. That's a strong teaser pick for Carolina Panthers. The same thing here. We got another resurgent veteran, old school guy, quarterback, name of Joe Flacco. I mean, and they're getting points. The Colts are getting points. If they put Richardson in, that's a no play. If Flacco plays, I'm going with Indiana. I mean, they're getting 3 points. You want to tease that down to 9? You're getting 9 points. That's a strong teaser too. And in this case here, if Flacco's playing, I'll take the points. That's pretty easy. The next game I have, I like, you got Cleveland at Washington. Washington laying 3 points. You know, Cleveland, they're struggling. They've had injuries. They don't have an identity. Deshaun Watson is hot and cold, and at crucial points, sometimes mostly cold. I look for consistency, and Daniels for Washington, now he's being hyped up as the next rising star. Now I don't see that in the stats because his touchdown passes is not what they should be, but he is managing an efficient game, and they have the run edge in this situation. So here, I think I'll just go with Washington. You want to lay the points, that's fine, but if you want to money line it, even more solid. They might win by 1 or 2, you'll be happy. Okay, so I'm going, Washington side and the money line. Now, the next game I have here, these games here, I'm not sure. I just want to comment on these games. I'll give it a lean, but I'm not sure if it's really something that I should play because I didn't really go in deep to these. I just noticed certain things about, like I said, in the pros, it's not so much the stats as it is the psychological motivation, barring injuries. Or injuries, you can't go around injuries. But other than that, the psychological motivations from week to week, those are more important because in the pro game, you know, there is no, like I have talked about before, there's no real advantage in superior physical talent. All right, every team has the studs on the line of scrimmage, the speedsters in the backfield, you know, the quarterbacks that are supposed to be able to control everything and pull the plug, you know, pull the trigger on things. So in this case here, Arizona, like I said before, they really can't run the ball unless their quarterback, Murray, does half of it. And that's a recipe for disaster. And we've seen so far this year that any team that can dominate the run, Arizona's going to struggle. They're going to play catch up, and they usually won't. And in this case here, unless there's some kind of injury situation going on with the Niners, I don't understand that line. It's pretty low, 7 points. I would expect to see maybe 10, at least 10. So, but yet, over half of the money is going on Arizona. So that makes me wonder, why is that? Is there something that I don't know that they do? So, you know, in this situation here, a medium lean would be just take the Niners in the money line. Okay, I know it's, 7 points, that's not a very good return, but still, I mean, if you money line 3 or 4 teams in a parlay, that's pretty decent. You know, it's almost like playing a teaser. Anyway, So the next game I have is Seattle at home against the Giants. I mean, I've said the Giants are a lower tier team. Seattle has proven this year they can handle and close the deal on these lower tier teams. They're not spectacular, but they get it done. Last week they were playing a higher caliber team and they didn't get it done. They were on the road. They were in the East Coast, which is always a negative for any West Coast team to go to the East Coast and play a 10 o'clock game. I mean, shit, I'm not even up yet. Sorry. So in this situation here, Seattle, they should handle the Giants. They might win by 4, so I wouldn't go with the side. The money line, or playing with a teaser. Same difference. Now, my last pick or last game that I'll talk about. I think Green Bay is going to get it done. I mean, with Love back, they've shown that they're a force. They went down. They were still a bit of they competed with a top team, Minnesota, without him. So now they're going to run the ball, and Love's going to control the game. He's not just going to be a steward of the game. He's going to actually contribute. So to me, this is a strong money line too. So to recap on the NFL, you got Carolina plus points with a strong teaser. You got the Colts with Flacco. Without Flacco, no play. Same thing with Carolina. Without Dalton, no play. Here I got Washington money line. Now these are strong leans. These are ones that I most likely will make a play on. And the other ones that I would say they're leans, maybe not real strong leans, but they're reasonable plays. Would be 49ers money line, would be Seattle money line, and the Green Bay Packers money line. So that's basically what I have for this week. Once again, next week around this time I'll come back and do it again. Hopefully I'll have some better numbers next week. And like I said before, the whole purpose for this is just for me to be able to have people listen to my demos. Now, I understand that 95% of the people that are going to listen aren't really going to be interested in what they're hearing. Some might think, oh, it's passable, so whatever. But the thing is, for me, I'm not a performer. I'm not a vocalist. I'm not a front guy. And honestly, if I wanted to be a musician full time, it wouldn't be as a guitar player, even though I play guitar. To me, the reason why I'm into the music is because the songwriting. Everything you hear are my songs that I've recorded or demos that I've not finished, that I plan to do in the not too near distant future. And the reason why I'm playing these in the background is maybe if I catch the ear of not the general public, because most of the general public, they want to hear a completely finished product with everything, the performance, the production, right. I mean, professional. And if they hear something that's off right away, they'll automatically tune out. So what I want is to catch somebody that's in the business of actually breaking down the music, the actual listening to the melodic line, the structure, the arrangement. See, and to see if is this possibly a potential commercial hit? Could this be a hit? Maybe not in this arrangement, but maybe in a different one. Maybe he knows a vocalist that would be just right, their range perfect, their style perfect for that song. Because it's the song itself. I mean, you can have the best performance, production, and record Mary Had a Little Lamb, that's not going to guarantee a hit. You know, what guarantees hits, or at least back in the day when music was still listened to, was an original melodic direction, line, melody, whatever. Something that's unique, something that's not a derivative, which is all we have now. Everybody's sounding the same with their those, what do you call those things? Computerized sound things and loops and samples and talking to a beat or whatever. I mean, this is all canned stuff. Back in the day, in the 70s, if you look at a lot of the videos in the 70s, you look at the performers, they look like some guy on the street that's, you know, might not be right, you know, long hair, crooked teeth or whatever, but he's out there and he's laying down an awesome song that, wow, I mean, look at, you know, Christopher Cross, people like that. They don't look like performers on stage. They just look like everyday people or eccentric looking people, but they were talented. And in those days, that's what was required, to talent, not the look, the package, the style, and all that. I mean, that's, and the people in the industry, like the AR reps that are looking for material, they might hear something that I'm got in the background, say, hey, you know, that sounds like something that I might want to look into. And that's why I'm doing this, okay? So everybody, you know, I know there's guys that look at this old guy, he thinks he's a rock star. No, I don't. I'm just trying to market my original tunes, okay? And if you're a player, if you're a vocalist, if you're a studio guy, AR guy, anybody in the business that might be interested, that's who I'm trying to talk to, okay? So anyway, okay, see you guys next week. Have a good one.